you, thank you,
Salute.
thank you, thank you. ऐसे ये लाल रंग का होता तो ऐसे अच्छा होता, क्लाउन लगता मैं. And do, you know, and pretend like paparazzi is following us and all of that stuff. And rejection is also part of our life. Also, like people send me videos of them, like clips of interviews where they have spoken. वो सामने से भी अच्छे बात करते हो, पीछे से भी. नहीं, थोड़ा सा उड़ के वापस आ जाओ. थोड़ा सा तो उड़ लो, ठीक है, एंजॉय इट फॉर व्हाट इट इज. यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट द नेचर ऑफ दिस बिजनेस. यू हैव टू डू इट. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि पुट अप विद इनजस्टिस. मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ. अब इसको लेके माथा पीट के मतलब रोने वाली क्या बात है इसमें? इट्स रबिश. आई एम सिक एंड टायर्ड ऑफ इट. स्टॉप कंप्लेनिंग. आई एम नॉट सेइंग पुट अप विद इनजस्टिस, बट स्टॉप कंप्लेनिंग अबाउट दिस काइंड ऑफ ट्रिवियल नॉनसेंस. दैट इज द नेचर ऑफ द बिजनेस. आर यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट? कम. Otherwise, get lost.
Okay, so firstly, tell us how, I mean, since Perfect Family is now airing, how excited are you for the reviews? Have you got any reviews as such abhi
I
tak?
have not seen anything. I've been sick since yesterday. मैंने कुछ नहीं देखा है. So I think like I'm going to I have to do interviews today all day. I missed hanging out with the other people, with all my colleagues, and having some fun time doing interviews with them and promoting the show. So I'm trying to catch up right now and somehow find some way to sort of fulfill my obligations and my duties.
Right.
I am excited. I had a great deal of fun, being part of this show, or a great cast. I think I want to get a little better, and then probably I'll start paying attention to the reviews. Usually I let it be, like the first few 2-3 days, sometimes a week also. I don't really, read any reviews or anything. I just, and then slowly, I think people will start messaging, people who've seen the show. वो लोग अपनी बात कहते हैं. There'll be some tweets or some posts on Instagrams. So वो तो आप बच नहीं सकते इनसे. वो तो आपको नज़र आ ही जाते हैं. तो I haven't started paying attention yet, but I am very excited. I think it's a very well written show. I had a great time working with Sachin. He had such a wonderful vision for the show and a stellar cast, and the kids also, they were like terrific to work with. So जब इतना मज़ा आया हमको करते हुए, तो आई थिंक एंड पलक ऑल्सो, लाइक द राइटिंग वॉज क्वाइट, इट्स वेरी रेलिवेंट एंड वेरी रिलेटेबल टू ऑल ऑफ अस एक्चुअली. So, and it's been presented in a way where it's not like really like force fed or anything like that. It's sort of disguised as a comedy.
Right.
Like how all our lives are, like,
In real life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about, as you rightly said, it is a reflection of your real life family, right?
All our lives, yeah.
Right. So, firstly, how did you come on board for this show, and also what made you say yes to the character? Because as compared to your other characters that you have portrayed till yet, right?
Yeah.
This is a very slice of life kind of. It is very relatable and very, like you find such characters in such situation in every family.
Yeah.
So how did you come on board,
Yeah,
and what made
compared
you
to
say yes?
Atmaram, it's a isolated character. Yeah, I liked it. I liked the idea. I met Sachin. I think Mukesh called me and he said, was it Mukesh? I think it was Mukesh or somebody from his office. When I say Mukesh, is Mr. Mukesh Chabra. Him. Yeah. So somebody called me and said like they have organized a meeting and Sachin Pathak wants to meet you. And I was a bit familiar with Sachin's work. I've seen his earlier work and I really liked it. So I had a meeting with him and we discussed it, and it just seemed like a good idea. The character, the cast, the sense, the plot, the subjects that we were exploring. I think it just made perfect sense that we sort of present something like this in a very relatable, manner to people as a slice of life sort of a thing. So I really like the idea, and I'm also sucker for versatility in my career. So I had just finished shooting for Ulaj, so something like this came. So I was like, this is a nice contrast to that.
Right.
Yeah.
Also talking about the concept of the show, the theme, the storyline talks about mental health stigma in every family, right? So what kind of conversations do you think that this show will kind of spark, and what kind of conversations are you expecting that it should cater to?
I don't know actually. Like I don't know if I want to say that this should spark conversation or something like that. If it doesn't spark conversation also, because having conversations also requires a great deal of courage sometimes, for us to admit that we are vulnerable or we're feeling pain or we're feeling weak. particularly for men, you know, it's like, and there is a certain generation of men, like my dad's generation, like they find it really hard to also admit that they, you know, they can't do certain things, you know. So I don't know if more than sparking conversation, I think if we're able to introspect and understand ourselves better and help and deal with our emotions, our situations. You know, we all have different situations, and sometimes we feel that our situation is worse than everybody else's, where most likely it's not. Somebody else is going through a harder time. But that doesn't mean that you're having it easy. You have to find perspectives, actually. There is no one perspective that works for everybody. You have to find a perspective that works for you. Okay, so that requires some push and pull, some trial and error, and some introspection. So sometimes maybe some people can openly talk about it or seek help. Maybe it's not so easy for some people, but they can, as long as you realize that, yeah, there is something that you need to do and not brush it under the carpet, then that's probably a good start. So if it doesn't start conversations, at least if you're able to have a chat with yourself and introspect, then that's a good start. Now, one show like this can't completely change everybody's life, right? That's not practical at all. But if it's able to sort of point you in a direction, or like if it makes you realize that, okay, I need to like think about this. I'm going through something, I feel a certain way, you know, my relationship is bad, or I feel down, or I don't have energy, whatever it is, like, you know, if you're able to sort of realize that something is wrong and maybe something can be done to sort of set that right. I mean, that probably is the ideal situation.
Right. You know, like you rightly said in your answer that usually with men, right, they still, as of yet, do not know how to kind of open up and accept their emotions. Also, the taboo जो हमने stereotype जो set करके रखा है कि men don't cry, men don't express, they are strong, they're this, they're that. That is kind of like a burden for men, I feel personally. What is your take? Do you think with times things have changed for men's mental health?
Sure, but it has its place, you know, being strong and being the immovable object does have its merits, right? But you can't be like that all the time, and every man cannot be that person, or every person cannot be that kind of a person. So you have to find a perspective that really works, and that you can be consistent with, and that will help you, that will empower you in your life to you know, live your life, to reach your goals, or have a fulfilling, meaningful life with. And for some people it is achieving goals, for some people it is having a wonderful family. It can be different for different people. Like I was saying, that no one particular method or perspective is not going to work for everybody. But we have to go in that journey where we find, you know, something that works for us, and we have to personalize it. So when we say mental health, it's like that. When I talk about my mental health is mine. It's not about being a man or an actor or Indian or human. It's just mine. It's mine. It's very personal, and I have to approach it in a very personal way also. And I have to find ways to sort of overcome certain things in my own way. It could be a method that other people also use, or it may not be also. So I think it's important, and also I think technologically we have really advanced in the last 100 years. If you just even do like a basic search on the internet and see how advanced we are as compared to, say, 1925, or say 200 years, 1825, the whole world I'm saying. But I don't think biologically we are that advanced. We still look the same. And I feel that, this is not my expert opinion, this is just my experience. I feel that psychologically, mentally, and biologically, we are not capable to sort of keep up with so many things that have happened. Like I can remember, like when I was a young person, I was in like 10, 12 years old, my father never brought his work home. Like he used to go in the morning and come back in the evening, and then there wasn't a file or anything, and his boss wasn't calling him home or something like that. There was a certain period of time that did work, and the rest of the time you did work in the house, or you did something that you had to do, or you spent time with the family and all that. But now if you see, it's very common that people bring their work home, you're accessible all the time. But these also put a lot of pressure on us, which many of us are not able to handle in a very constructive manner over a long period of time. That's what I mean. That means that biologically we haven't evolved to cope with this kind of stress, constant, consistent stress. Like prehistorically, go out hunting and then you hunt, you come back with your bruises and injuries and then you recover. But now it's nothing. You don't even get like 4 hours of sleep to recover. So we have to find ways to sort of cope with that, So I completely forgot what your question was, but I think I said something that was relevant.
Right. Extending to the question of mental health, especially, I mean, every person in every phase has different kind of stress that they deal with on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to the field of entertainment, where things are so uncertain, where आज picture है, कल नहीं है, परसों होगा कि नहीं पता नहीं, we have nothing is, it's everybody's clueless, right?
Yeah.
या फिर कितनी बार ऐसे होता है कि picture sign हो गई, परसों shoot हो रहा है, आज पता चला, it's shut,
Yeah.
right? It's canned. So in such situations, how have you dealt with your mental health, and what has kept you grounded? What has kept you going for so many years? ऐसा भी नहीं कि 1-2 साल की बात है, for so many years.
I think I accept the nature of the business, that it's subjective. Anything that's subjective you can't measure. It's always people's opinion. If somebody thinks I'm a good actor, it's their opinion. Can they? And it's still a subjective opinion. If somebody very experienced says that I'm a good actor, it's probably carries a bit more weight. Like if Naseeruddin Shah or Manoj Bajpayee, have good things to say about me, which is a very educated opinion, but it's still an opinion. So I think I accept the nature of the business, and that helps me not take things personally. It's hard, it's not easy. You have to practice it. And when I say practice, it's like practicing anything. It's like practicing to have better handwriting or driving a car. The more you do it, the better you get it. But initially you have to really be deliberate until you get to a stage where you don't have to think about it, it will automatically happen. So it's like that. When you start to feel that your ego is getting hurt or you feel rejected or something, you have to just practice, like don't take it personally, don't take it personally. And in the beginning it was pretty much like that. I used to keep telling myself just go sit somewhere alone where nobody has to see me. Even if I'm feeling emotional, if I want to cry or something, I just have a cry and keep telling myself, don't take it personally, it's okay. People are just trying to, that doesn't mean that you are not good enough or anything like that. It's hard, but with practice it gets better. And I don't think I'm at a stage when such things don't completely affect me, but then it's definitely a lot better. It takes a lot to sort of get me a little unfazed. So now and then, but it's an ongoing process, and the nature of this business is really uncertain. Right. Sure, I work in the entertainment business, so I have a little bit of expert opinion as to how to deal with the day-to-day functioning of this business and the nature of this business. But other people who work in other businesses also have to find ways to sort of deal with their stress and disappointments and all of that. There's a big deal made of merit. Like it's a fact. Like in the arts, merit cannot exist in the arts. It's always an opinion. It's always a subjective opinion, and I completely accept that nature of the arts. That it's truth. That it's fundamental truth. So what people like me want is consensus. We want more people to like my work or our show. That's what we want. And to some extent, we do like interviews and PR. We dress nicely and then, we smile and post videos on Instagram and do, and pretend like paparazzi is following us and all of that stuff. We do in order to control this narrative, To some extent you can do it, to some extent you can't do anything. People will still form their own opinion. You can't control everybody's mind. But that's the nature of the business, and I accept it wholeheartedly that it's purely subjective.
Right. आपके इसी आंसर से 3 मेरे सवाल उभर आए हैं. So
मेरे तो ऐसे ही है. मैं एक बार ऐसे पहाड़ चढ़ना शुरू करता हूँ ना तो मैं कभी-कभी मैं चोटी तक पहुँच जाता हूँ.
So yeah,
उसमें 2-3 सवाल मैंने ऑलरेडी ऐसे कवर कर लिए.
While you are answering, मुझे 3 सवाल दिख गए इसी आंसर में. So I wanted to know, keep as you said.
Wait a second. Why am I looking at the camera? I can look at you, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, camera. Please don't take it personally. I have nothing against you. A very good-looking What's your name? Sony. Oh, nice name. Okay. Malayali ho? Okay.
Okay. So extending to your answer, this question is that
ये
जैसे
तेरे को नहीं भाई, कैमरा को बात कर, कैमरा से बात कर रहा था. तुम क्या हिला रहे थे सर उधर? Sorry हाँ.
So extending to your answer itself, ये question जहन में आया कि जैसे आपने बोला कि जैसे हमने भी discuss किया कि भी बहुत uncertainties है इस industry में and all of that. Sometimes movies are there, you're very excited कि अरे अभी करने वाला हूँ shoot और वो cancel हो जाती है. Have you ever faced anything like that?
Yeah, sure, it happens. It's part of life.
So any particular project that you?
No, I mean there are lots. Like I mean, what is the point apart from creating some controversy or like some misdirection? If I take some names, like people will form their own opinions or something like that. कुछ नहीं है.
Fair
I have no remorse, no it's nothing, no pain, nothing. Everything मैंने बहा दिया है. कुछ नहीं है. It happens. This hit or hit flop तो अपने life का हिस्सा ही है.
Correct.
And rejection is also part of our life.
Correct,
And then
correct.
many times, many things don't happen for a variety of reasons. It can be a variety of reasons. There can be 1 million reasons why certain projects don't happen.
Right. Do you take that in your stride?
You have to. If you have to have a career in this business and you have to also be mentally stable, you have to accept the nature of this business. You have to do it. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि put up with injustice. मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Like sometimes it's just like something that I have said, you know, ऐसे broad spectrum में हाँ like नहीं. You shouldn't put up with injustice. That's not what I am saying. There's nuances to everything. Yeah. So yeah, you have to accept the nature of the business.
Also, जैसे आपने बोला कि नसीरुद्दीन शाह या मनोज बाजपेयी उनके opinions होंगे. So for example, I wanted to know that has there been any compliment that you've received for any kind of your work?
इन लोगों से बहुत
what
मिले
was that
मुझे.
if you could
पीठ पीछे
elaborate?
बात करते हैं. Also like people send me videos of them like clips of interviews where they have spoken. वो सामने से भी अच्छे बात करते हैं और पीछे से भी. The first time I think Mr. Nasiruddin Shah, he was doing an interview with Anupama Chopra and she sent me that clip saying that see this is what, and a million other people also sent when that interview released कि ऐसा कहा उन्होंने आपके बारे में.
So does that feel flattering or does
course,
that
somebody
or
like him of his
how do you keep
stature.
yourself grounded after that?
नहीं थोड़ा सा उड़ के वापस आ जाओ मतलब सही. थोड़ा सा तो उड़ लो ठीक है. Enjoy it for what it is. Like Manoj ji also, he's so like appreciative. He's so he doesn't hold back in his appreciation. And then it's such a thing. Stalwarts like them, people who are high achievers. और मनोज बाजपेयी तो मेरे हीरो हैं बिकॉज उनको देख के ही वो कुछ तो उम्मीद आई थी कि ठीक है हो सकता है कुछ तो लाइफ में.
Right.
I know you don't have to be like a dancing, lip syncing sort of one type of a
Macho man,
hero.
ऐसे.
हाँ तो मतलब एक leading man बनने के लिए आप मतलब बन सकते हैं. I mean
हम
of
में
course
से
there was Nana Patekar, there was Nasiruddin Shah, all of many people like Om ji, even Amol Palekar to some extent. But I think at that age where it really mattered to me, it was Manoj Bajpayee. I kind of found Manoj Bajpayee. He was a great inspiration. Suddenly he's that light bulb that I needed in my life.
Yeah,
you know?
from
So
Satya,
हाँ.
Shul, all
Yeah,
these
वो सब देख के एक बोले हो सकता है कुछ तो हो सकता है. मतलब एक 10 वो तो क्या 98 में आई थी ना वो सब 98 99 हुआ. 10 साल लग गए मुझे आने में लेकिन वो बल्ब जलाया था वापस उन्होंने. उनको देख के वापस वो जला था.
Okay. Also, talking about you've been in the industry for a pretty long time now, and you're not just there. You're sustained very well, and your graph has been more like जैसे हम ऊपर जाते वैसे ही आपका graph रहा है. Especially I won't talk about commercial graph. I would talk about the quality of graph, the quality of roles that you've done, right? So I would just want you to know that इस industry में बहुत सारा ये debate है about outsider, insider, फलाना, ढिमकाना and all of that. Have you ever faced anything and what is your take on all of this? Because usually it is said that when you are from a family that has been basically a Bollywood family, आपको start आपका easy हो जाता है as compared to an outsider. What is your take on this and have you ever faced something like this?
See, I went to private school, right? So I have a certain quality of education that I received, right? Which many people who can't afford to go to school didn't receive. So it clearly creates an advantage for me. That my opportunities in life to get a job, to learn, to be able to read a book, as opposed to somebody who can't, See, there are exceptions everywhere. Like broad spectrum में अगर लिया जाए कि somebody who can read and write clearly has an advantage over somebody who can't, right? Somebody who has stronger physically capabilities clearly has an advantage over somebody who does not. So वही तो हो ही जाता है. The advantage that people who grow up in the business they have is that they understand the business much better than people who start from scratch. There is that advantage. अब इसको लेके माथा पीट के मतलब रोने वाली क्या बात है इसमें? We all have, हम लोग अपना एडवांटेज भूल जाते हैं. Like see, like my mom and dad, my mom's been sick since 1984 and progressively getting worse. When I wanted to leave in 2008, not one day, she was like in a very bad shape. She's always been in poor health and I'm the only child. एक बार भी मम्मी ने ना पापा ने बोला है कि मत जाओ. क्या होगा, यहीं पे रहोगे तो हमारा सहारा बन, कुछ नहीं, जाओ. और उनकी तबीयत बिगड़ती रही. और तो अब तो पापा की तबीयत भी अभी काफ़ी डाउन चल रहा है, बट कभी उन्होंने रोका नहीं कि मत जाओ हमारे साथ रहो, कभी नहीं कहा. दैट्स माई प्रिविलेज, राइट? मेनी अदर पीपल डोंट हैव दैट प्रिविलेज. उनके ऊपर वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रहती है कि घर चलाना पड़ेगा, माँ बाप का ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा, ये है वो है. पीपल इवन विथ लाइक मेनी सिबलिंग्स ऑल्सो दे स्टिल हैव दोज प्रेशर. मुझ पे वो प्रेशर नहीं था. सो everybody has their advantages. We clearly conveniently forget our advantage and our privilege that we have over millions of people behind us who are less privileged, and we start crying about people who are more privileged than us. It's rubbish. I'm sick and tired of it. Stop complaining. I'm not saying put up with injustice, but stop complaining about this kind of trivial nonsense and put in the work. Accept the nature of the business. बहुत हार्ड वर्क के बाद भी घंटा कुछ नहीं मिल सकता है. दैट इज द नेचर ऑफ द बिजनेस. आर यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट? कम. अदरवाइज गेट लॉस्ट, डू समथिंग एल्स. एंड दिस इज हार्नेस्ड फॉर समबडी एल्सेस. ये दो एंगस्ट रहता है ना कि है. एवरीबडी फील्स दैट दे डिजर्व बेटर. हु द हेल आर यू टू थिंक दैट यू डिजर्व बेटर? कौन हो तुम? कीप योर हेड डाउन, वर्क and hope for the best.
Gratitude.
Do your best.
Yeah.
And have, and somebody like me who's a working actor, I have immense gratitude. मतलब हुआ है उतार चढ़ाव तो लाइफ में हुआ है, लेकिन मैं अभी भी काम कर रहा हूँ. मैं तो आने के 2 साल बाद मैंने काम learn. There are so many things you can do instead of like whining and cribbing and this nepotism nonsense and all that. It's rubbish. It never bothers me and it should never bother anybody else also. अभी आप लोगों को इसको माथा पीट के रोना है तो रो. मतलब बाढ़ में जाओ, मेरा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है दुनिया बदलने की.
राइट. यू नो, कंटिन्यूइंग टू द क्वेश्चन, बहुत सारा ये इसके ऊपर भी डिबेट होता है कि बॉलीवुड में ये लॉबीज़ है, वो लॉबीज़ है, एंड देर आर सो एज समबडी हु इज कमिंग फ्रॉम अ फैमिली हु डज नॉट नो द नेचर ऑफ द बिजनेस, और मान लो उन्होंने 5 साल गुजार भी लिए इस इंडस्ट्री में, बट वो नहीं कर पाए जो उनके बाद के आने वाले बंदे भी कर गए, बिकॉज दे बिलोंग टू द सर्टेन सेक्शन ऑफ बॉलीवुड, राइट? सो हाउ डिफिकल्ट और ईजी इज इट फॉर पीपल?
डिफिकल्टी है. मतलब क्या डिफिकल्टी से क्या प्रॉब्लम है? कुछ तो अभी जिंदगी में यूनिक करना पड़ेगा तो डिफिकल्ट तो होगा ही. मतलब सब आसानी से हो जाएगा तो मजा क्या है फिर जिंदगी का, है ना? अभी किसी को एक नई पार्टी खड़ा करके इलेक्शन जीतना पड़ेगा तो आपको तो करना पड़ेगा ना. पहले तो कोई जानता ही नहीं आपको क्या है, कैनवसिंग करना पड़ेगा. इट्स हार्ड, बट देन व्हेन यू अचीव इट
नहीं आते ऐसे बोलते हैं.
हाँ, बट नहीं, मुश्किल तो है ही. द नेचर ऑफ द बिजनेस, आई टोल्ड यू ना, इट्स लाइक दैट. इट्स कट थ्रोट. It's not going to do you any favors. So if you want to achieve something over here, you have to be able to face these difficulties and overcome these difficulties and not let it stop you. ये तो करना ही पड़ेगा आपको.
Remain strong throughout.
That doesn't mean that people shouldn't be nice to each other. Professionalism can't exist, or you should like become a like Machiavellian lobbyist. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. मैं ऐसे फालतू में मैकियावेली का नाम बदनाम कर रहा हूँ मैं. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be a cutthroat, scheming politician in order to sort of get ahead. You can find your own. You can be a decent professional, hardworking professional, and still be, make it really go really far. You can do that.
Right.
But it's hard. Of course, it's hard. It's not easy.
So how have you sustained in it? If we talk about you, what has kept you going throughout this entire journey?
That's it. Because I told you, I accept the nature of this business. It is cutthroat. It will chew me and spit me out. इतना सब करने के बाद में अभी अभी in another 5 years maybe nobody will give me work. It's possible.
And you're ready for that mentally?
I don't know. Right now, if you ask me, no. But then should I be? Will I be? Maybe I will. Maybe I will accept it. We never know. But at least I know कि ये हो सकता है.
Possible.
I am not pretending that कि ऐसा बिल्कुल होगा ही नहीं है. इतने सारे लोग हैं जब मैं 10 साल पहले देखता था अभी कहीं नज़र नहीं आते. All the actors that मैं बचपन में देखता था. Sometimes I am like I wonder कि कर क्या रहे हैं. कुछ तो कर रहे होंगे. I don't know. But उतना वो नज़र में नहीं आते हैं जितना वो आ रहे थे. So this can happen to me also. And with now with technology and AI and all of those things, they're already making shows.
Yeah.
So one hit show where all the actors are made from or simulated, and one simulated superstar, and that's it.
Right, right. Also talking about, ये जो social media throughout अभी ये जो phase निकल आया है.
वो बात करने देना है यार. ये लोग लेटा है ना, करने देना. इतने अच्छे अच्छे सवाल पूछिए. आप पूछिए इसका.
नहीं, I'm just asking कि जो social media का ये जो culture निकल आया है with basically now a lot of people have told me that in case the casting and the auditions also happen on the basis of how many followers do you have और आप कितना audience grab कर सकते हो when it's the release time, right? So मतलब do you think that this is fair for any actor on a whole, and how do you deal with this?
I
Have you
don't give
faced?
a shit. It is a trend.
Okay.
Is it valid? Does it have any merit to it? I don't know. I'm not sure if all that following is translating into subscriptions or ticket sales. I am not sure. But somebody else who knows better than me is taking these decisions. Again, that's probably a good idea to hire somebody else or something like that. And some of them are even like pretty decent also. Like, they're pretty good actors also. I don't want to like say anything bad or negative about anybody. सब लोग अपना अपना रास्ता खुद देख ले. अब आप मेरा सोशल मीडिया खोल के देख लीजिए कि कितना फॉलोइंग है मेरा 300K भी नहीं है. मिल रहा है ना मेरे को काम.
Right, but do you feel the pressure of keeping up with the social media game?
I'm not taking that pressure.
They're making reels and this and
It's up
that.
to me.
Yeah.
It's not up to my management. It's not up to people also, my fans. It's not up to them. It's up to me. If they like me, if they follow me, if they like my work, it's because I am the way I am.
Right.
Now, if I suddenly start changing and doing something else, then I won't be myself,
Right.
my authentic self. तो मेरे को इसी चीज़ से मतलब है.
Right, right, okay. Talking about Perfect Family, हमने जब मतलब बीच में हमने एक इंटरव्यू देखा था गिरिजा मैम का, where she had gone all out in lauding you on how decent and how cautious and conscious you were while filming a particular scene.
Yeah, I am a very decent guy.
So she had said कि ये अगर कोई और होता तो बहुत ही uncomfortable शायद हो जाता, considering it was being shot, right? But with Gulshan he was such a decent guy and इतना मतलब मुझे ही conscious हो गई थी मैं कि इतना अच्छा बंदा है ये तो. So firstly tell me how difficult or easy is it, because आजकल
It's very difficult to do such scenes because there is a line that we always cannot cross.
Right.
See, simulating intimacy and violence. These are the very tricky because there is always a line that you cannot cross. But you have to also create the illusion of it being real. So you have to find ways to do it. And if I'm working with somebody else, they have to trust me and I have to be able to trust them कि we will take care of each other. So you have to develop that trust. And when you don't know them that very well, you have to find ways to sort of make them feel comfortable. Sometimes there are intimacy coordinators. Like in Ulaj, we had an intimacy coordinator from the UK.
Right.
And that person very stage by stage systematically took us through like that particular thing and made us feel comfortable. ये अलग बात है कि उसमें से ऐसे मतलब 3/4 से काट के फेंक दिया, वो अलग बात है. कुछ नहीं बचा फिल्म में. But then sometimes you have to do it. I think I am a bit more experienced. तो मैं तो ऐसे I think Hate Story was the time 2012 में शूट कर रहा था. कोई इंटीमेसी कोऑर्डिनेटर, कोई फलाना डिमकाना कुछ नहीं है. We had to figure it out. And I was lucky that I was working with Pauli, who was such a good sport, and she made me feel very comfortable. And that's when I was like, you have to figure this out. Like, and before I went to shoot there, मैं 2 दिन ऐसे बैठ के बीवी के साथ बात किया कि कर क्या सकते हैं. How do we prepare? And there are many things that you have to do personally also, and also from my side, I always want that other person to be comfortable. And I extend the same courtesy when I'm to a male or it doesn't matter what sex they are, when I'm doing action also. Because I don't want to hurt that other person.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this comfortable? ये ऐसा आएगा, वैसा आएगा, ये ऐसा करेंगे, तुम कैसे करोगे? And I don't want to get hurt either. So you have to be careful and you have to be a thorough professional and you have to make that other person or other people feel that they can trust you and they also should sort of win your trust over. So that's what I was doing, that's all.
Right, right. And how was it shooting with the national crush currently?
ओबे वो तो हमको पहले से ही पता था कि वो नेशनल क्रश है. Fantastic. I don't know why it took so long for our career paths to sort of cross, but I'm very glad it did, and I had a wonderful time doing scenes with her and getting to know her also as a person and meeting her son, her family, and hanging out with her, and it was really, really nice. She's a friend, so I have such warm feelings for her. I really like chilling with her and बातें करते हैं हम लोग, तो अच्छा था.
Right, right. Also talking about your Tamil debut with R. Madhavan also, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. Please shed some light on that. How is the experience and what are you looking up to? I mean, you're already there down south with Kantara and all, but with Tamil, how's the experience? And also, continuing to the same question, what stark difference do you find in Bollywood and South while working?
We'll start with that question. It's some technical, like the way they refer to certain things is a little different, but ज़्यादातर techniques तो same ही है, cameras भी same है, सब है. Some technical terms, the shift timings, वो अलग-अलग unions का अलग-अलग rules होता है. तो कर्नाटका में कुछ shift timings का rules है, यहाँ पे अलग है, और चेन्नई में भी थोड़ा सा इधर जैसा ही है, similar है. I think in some other place I heard that in Kerala it's counted कि when you leave home तब से shift start होता है, ऐसा कुछ तो मैंने सुना है. I don't know. I've never worked in the Malayalam industry yet, though. So I really had a great time. It was not very easy. I do speak the language क्योंकि मैं Bangalore में पला बड़ा. I am quite comfortable with most of the southern languages. Maybe Malayalam being my weakest. Telugu not so good, but I can manage. But Tamil I grew up speaking it with my friends and their family. So I was a bit well versed with that. But speaking conversational Tamil and Kaam Chalao Tamil and then articulating dialogues is a thing. But they gave me a very good trainer, Smriti. She's a dubbing artist. She spent a lot of time with me doing online classes and she used to be on set every time. And because she was a dubbing artist, she was a voice actor. So she was able to sort of guide me properly. And her being there on set was also like really, or after the first 2 days, I think the director Charu Shekhar started changing my dialogues. Like, नहीं तुम तो ऐसे बोल रहे हो ना, तो like ऐसा मत कर भाई. But yeah, थोड़ा सा मेहनत तो करना पड़ा. खत्म नहीं हुआ, अभी भी है 1-2 दिन बाकी है.
Right, right. And talking about your other South venture that has
Yeah.
boomed, talking about Kantara.
Kantara, yeah.
Firstly, yeah, Kantara.
चलेगा, आप बोल लो कंतारा. आप डोसा भी बोलो, सांबर भी बोल लो, चलेगा.
नहीं नहीं, Kantara.
सिंसियरली प्यार से बोलोगे तो चलेगा यार, एक्सेप्टेबल है मेरे लिए.
I wanted to know how are you feeling with such a stupendous, जो उसे मिला है reviews, commercially also and critically also.
Yeah.
Even your character, आपका character इतना negative होने के बावजूद भी it's the most hated but loved character.
Yeah.
So how does it feel?
I'm very surprised that a lot of people really, they meet me with such warmth and कि मेरे लिए कुछ ऐसा नहीं है कि I've been working for nearly 15 years now. But I think for KFI, Kannada film industry, the Kannada audience, they've never seen me. So I think it's just like a little thing. तो पहले तो हमारे लोकेलिटी में कुत्ता भी पहचानता नहीं था, तो अभी पहचान में आ गया हूँ. जब भी कुछ मेडिकल स्टोर जाता हूँ, बेकरी जाता हूँ या दुकान में जाता हूँ या सड़क पे चल रहा होता हूँ या हॉस्पिटल, आजकल हॉस्पिटल्स के बड़े चक्कर काट रहा हूँ मैं, तो थोड़ी बहुत उस एडवांटेज मिल ही जाती है बिकॉज पीपल लाइक नाउ लाइक रिकग्नाइज यू, वांट टू टेक पिक्चर्स विद यू, वांट टू टॉक टू यू एंड ऑल दैट. So, and they somehow I don't feel that I've done anything really different or anything, but उनको लग रहा है कि कुछ तो नयापन है जो मैं लेके आया उस किरदार में. So I think that's why Rishabh had hired me also, that I'll bring something to it which will be a little different. So I'm happy with it. I've already forgotten about it. I'm not trying to take it very seriously. As I told you ना, these things तो hit flop तो अपने life में चलता ही रहता है. अभी 851 करने के बाद आप सोचने लगोगे कि यही सब कुछ है, हम ही मुतर्रम खान है, फिर हो गया काम तमाम. I don't think I'll be able to survive. So I'm moved on. I'm happy that this happened. I'm happy that my first step into the Kannada film industry was with such a special film. I'm very grateful to Rishabh and Hombale and everybody involved. They were so nice. They served it on a platter to me. So I couldn't have wished for anything better.
राइट लास्ट क्वेश्चन आपके आंसर में ना अभी आपने बोला कि केरला इंडस्ट्री में कैसे प्रॉबली दे स्टार्ट द शिफ्ट फ्रॉम द टाइम यू लीव होम राइट ये वर्क आवर डिबेट पे बहुत चर्चा चल रही है फिलहाल कि बॉलीवुड में 8 आवर शिफ्ट होना चाहिए 10 आवर शिफ्ट
You want my opinion?
यस
Everybody should work for 8 hours. Everybody, technicians, everybody. And जहाँ पे, for example, there are some certain departments who need to work longer should have shifts, which means that you should have like जैसे hospitals में होता है ना first shift, second shift, third shift. People who do the same job, like attenders होते हैं, nurses होते हैं, they don't work through the day. They'll have shifts. So, for example, set department, art direction, and production design. Sometimes you have to work through the night because you have to erect the set in the morning. So you should have like 2 or 3 sets of people to work through 24 hours who will do 8-hour shifts. So this should be for it, not just actors. Many actors like, see, if I'll tell you, if मैं थोड़ा grumpy होके नहीं मैं 8 घंटा ही काम करूँगा ना, a lot of people will agree. वो मेरे contract में लिख देंगे. But I feel that 8 hours is something that is really something that everybody should be given that. Everybody. बिकॉज you'll have time. जैसे मुंबई में ट्रैवल में ही इतना टाइम 2-3 घंटा तो ट्रैवल में ही चला जाता है. वेयर डू यू हैव द टाइम टू स्पेंड विथ योर फैमिली और वॉच समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग और हैव अ मीट डिनर टुगेदर और जस्ट हैव ओन चिल टाइम टू डू लाइक नथिंग. वो तो चाहिए. सो सिर्फ काम ही करते रहेंगे क्या? So I think, and this is particularly also for people who work on a daily wage. There are many of them, like more than 60-70% of a film set works on daily wage. So they charge per day. So for them, they're working on one set, they're working on another set. Then you're just like going from one set to another. I've seen action teams do night shifts and then do a day shift in the morning. The same team. And that's very critical. I'm like action team. Like you are also responsible for safety protocols. Like you have not slept through the night. मतलब 12 घंटा नाइट शिफ्ट करके आप 12 घंटा डे शिफ्ट करने जा रहे हो ऐसे ही उठ के. This is really terrible. I think everybody should work for 8 hours so that they have time, the rest of the time for themselves and their families.
Absolutely. Okay, last question. This year has been very tough for Bollywood with Dharmendra sir's passing away. What do you think? ये जो media culture overall जिस तरीके से उनको coverage किया था, what is your take on that?
I don't know. I don't like it. I think everybody should just like chill out a little bit. And वो हो गया है. Instagram reel culture चल रहा है. So everything doesn't have to be big news and everything doesn't have to be covered. Everything doesn't have to be वो है ना कि we were the first to cover के चक्कर में I think वो quality of coverage lose हो रहा है थोड़ा and थोड़ा insensitivity हो रहा है. तो I think, see, for public figures it's going to be there, like people will sort of be interested. Your privacy will, it's not the same, like, but somewhere you have to draw the line and have a slightly humanitarian approach towards such things.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much
Cheers.
for your time. Thank you.
Cheers, Ians.